Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast, the SJ podcast. I'd just like to thank you for taking the time out of your lives to once again join me and listen to me speak. I'm currently filming this before Christmas, so I hope that you've all had a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. Um, Hopefully, I can edit this and get it out to you guys before Christmas or on Christmas Day. But if I don't manage to, I might just be too lazy or busy. So, yep. We have a lot planned for today. Actually, not a lot, maybe a little bit. But I'd like to introduce a special guest coming on today. And even though I said that I would keep special guests for the new year, 2021, I think today we have an extra special guest. And so, yeah, that person is actually me. So for those of you watching, I would like to introduce Samuel Jiang. Hello, hello. Thank you for introducing me. Um, First of all, I just like to say that I think you are a great host, and that it certainly is a pleasure to be on the Great SJ podcast. So, yep, I look forward to filming with you, and hopefully everything goes smoothly. Yep, it certainly is a pleasure to have you on, and you're indeed the first special guest. So yeah, like you said, I hope everything goes smoothly, and let's start off with some questions. So, Samuel Jang, how's your experience with COVID this year? How has it affected your friends, your family, school, sports for you? Would you like to answer that? Yeah, for sure, for sure. I think COVID, for me this year wasn't that bad. I think, I know it certainly hit a lot of people pretty badly, but I know for me, thank God, everything's been good. There's no deaths, nothing really bad has happened. My friends and my family are all healthy. Although I do know, people that have gotten it, but yeah, thank God they've been able to recover quickly and, yep, not spread it, I guess. For school though, I think it's definitely presented a new challenge because now I think we have to get used to online schooling, or we had to get used to it. I think it's pretty normal now, and I think it's definitely a good experience, and it's definitely good to have like a still an opportunity to learn while in this pandemic. Yeah. And then for sports, I do play volleyball, but fortunately we were able to hold the season at the beginning of the year, but like recently it's been shut down for COVID concerns, and hopefully that restarts by the beginning of the year. Yeah, that's great to hear. That's great to hear. Yeah, I know for me as well, I haven't really been hit that badly by coronavirus, and that definitely has been fortunate. Yeah, so that's great to hear. Moving on to our second question. As the year is coming to a close, was there anything you wish you had done that you didn't do? Yeah, I think there's quite a bit that I wish I had done and I hadn't done, probably because I just didn't do it or because of coronavirus. But I certainly wish that I could have been able to like experience my first year of high school in the actual high school instead of online. But obviously that was not like allowed, I guess, for Corona, but they've definitely restarted in school for the high school, but I'm currently not doing that, so we'll see how that goes. Um, for things that I wish I had done, I think um over the pandemic, I've had a lot of free time, and I think most of that has just been wasted playing games. So I definitely wish that I put more time into like the podcast, for example. I wish I'd put more time into connecting with my family and friends. I certainly wish that I'd more time like building my relationship with God as well. So I think yeah, there's a lot of things that I wish I had done but didn't end up doing. Yeah, I think all of us have had the want to do something this year but just not being able to do it either because of circumstances or we're just, fatigued from the pandemic. But speaking of the pandemic, you now have time because of or you have more time rather because of the pandemic, but now you have even more time from the long weekend with Christmas. how do you plan to spend that time? Any plans? Any vacation? Any things that you really want to do? So yeah, I do have quite a bit of time this weekend just to do the things that I want. I think it's a good break for me to have from school and stuff like that. But honestly, I don't think this is gonna change much just because I can't really go out or do anything. Like I certainly wanted to go skiing or like learn how to snowboard while the snow was still out with my family, but obviously we couldn't do that just because coronavirus and yeah, complications as such. Um, Still, I think I just want to relax and be able to really like take my mind off school this coming weekend. Though I still want to keep myself active. I still want to do some work. I still want to, learn. I still want to, put time into things like the podcast, right? I want to like keep expanding on my hobbies and really yeah, grow closer to my friends and family as well. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Yeah. I think that we should be able to relax and take our minds off things during this break. And I also do agree with you in that, yeah, this is a good time for us to keep going with doing the things we love, spending time with the people around us. Yeah, of course. And now moving on to our last two questions. What are your hopes for 2020 or the future in general? Well, for 2020, I think um, me and quite a bit of people hope for just a better year in general. I think COVID's has definitely taken like this year from us. 2020 really hasn't been the best, and I hope that 2021 will be a better year. I certainly hope that the pandemic won't be as strong. I hope that as the vaccine is coming out, the infection rate will start to slow down. I hope that we'll continue to be safe and hold coronavirus still in a high regard. But I certainly hope that life will begin to start to kind of move back to normal a bit, because I think missing out on a lot of things it's getting tiring, yeah, or I'm getting tired of it, and so yeah, I definitely do want things to return to normal. So yeah, I guess that's my hope for the future. Yeah, I think a lot of people just want 2021 to be normal and unlike 2020. I know there's always those jokes being made that 2020 was, the end of the world, was the worst year ever, but I certainly hope that we can get over that as a human race. So our final question is similar to the previous question we just asked, but what are your hopes for 2021 and the future, but for the podcast? Where do you want the podcast to be, and where do you see it in the next year or so? So yeah, for 2021, I certainly hope that I'll start getting special guests onto the podcast. I certainly hope that I'll be able to expand the podcast, get better equipment possibly, and just really start talking about the things that I want to talk about and really making this podcast into what I want it to be or what I want to see it become. So yeah, I think there's definitely quite a bit of work that I have to put into the podcast, but I certainly hope that I be able to find the motivation to do all of that and really yeah, start like creating and then developing this, I guess, hobby of mine. Yeah, I love that. I love that you are pursuing something that you really want to do, and so I applaud you for that. Yeah, I think it's great that you should be able to. It's great that you can and then have this outlet for voicing your opinions. And once again, I thank you for talking on the podcast. I think for this episode, we're going to keep it a little bit shorter as well, like the introduction video. So I thank you for coming onto the podcast. I think it's definitely been um, a smooth time, and I hope that the viewers like it. Yeah, for sure. Definitely. I think it has been smooth, and yeah, I do hope the viewers like it. So once again, I just thank you so much for having me on the podcast. I just wanted to let you know again that you are a great host, perhaps even the greatest host. But yeah, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for having me on. And there you have it. I thank you guys all again for taking the time out of your lives to come and watch me interview myself. But I hope you've gained some insight into my life concerning coronavirus and 2020, as well as the future or my future plans for the podcast. And I hope that once again, I hope you guys have a lovely break and happy holidays.